Houston, a melting pot of dreams, is home to a rich and vibrant Asian American and Pacific Islander community. That AAPI heritage intertwines generations of stories, each one woven delicately into the fabric of Houston's identity. From the culinary traditions that tantalize our taste buds to the vibrant festivals that brighten our streets, AAPI culture has left an indelible mark on this city. But beyond the colorful facade lies a history marked by struggle and triumph. Discrimination, stereotypes, and the pain of feeling like outsiders in their own home can leave deep scars. Yet through the darkest of times, Houston's AAPI community has emerged stronger, united by the bonds of resilience. In this KHOU 11 Plus special, we'll highlight that resilience, culture, and indomitable spirit as we recognize Asian American and Pacific Islander Month. Thanks for joining us. I'm digital anchor Brandy Smith. Let's begin by answering the question, why do we celebrate AAPI Month in May? Rekha Mudaraj explained.
This month is a celebration of Asian American and Pacific Islander heritage. The annual celebration recognizes their historical and cultural contributions over the years, and it includes cultures from the entire Asian continent, including East, Southeast, and South Asia, and the Pacific Islands. In 2021, the White House singled out Native Hawaiians, proclaiming May as Asian American and Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Quite a mouthful, but since Pacific Islanders include many different cultures and traditions, the addition was welcomed. The original month actually started as a little more than a week. In 1979, the first 10 days of May were named Asian Pacific American Heritage Week after resolutions passed in the House and Senate. That continued through the 80s. In 1990, Congress expanded the observance to a month. But why the month of May? It's because of two important dates in the month. May 7th, 1843 marks the arrival of the first Japanese immigrants to the U.S., and May 10th, 1869 is Golden Spike Day, the day that marks the completion of the first transcontinental railroad. Of course, Chinese immigrants were instrumental in the completion of that railroad, and it's one of the many contributions we are honoring this month. With the Why, I'm Rekha Mudaraj.
Texas state senators recognized May as Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month.
As Republicans and Democrats here in this legislature, I want you to know that we all stand as one against and denounce all forms of Asian hate.
Senator Royce West noted May 9th was the first time in his 20 years in the Senate that AAPI Texans got an advocacy day in the Capitol. It comes at a pivotal time. Senator Tan Parker noted all his colleagues in the legislature denounce Asian hate. Across the nation, crimes against the AAPI community have been on the rise, driven by ignorance, prejudice, and fear. Between 2020 and 2021, the Center for the Study of Hate and Extremism reports a nearly 200% increase in anti-Asian hate crimes in major U.S. cities, including Houston. In May 2021, Texas Governor Greg Abbott joined a rally aimed at stopping hate and discrimination against Asian Americans.
Hundreds of people packed into Discovery Green this afternoon, frustrated, fed up.
This is not acceptable.
Some in fear.
You don't know when you're going to be attacked.
My daughter in New York, I asked her, try to stay at home. Don't go outside in the evening.
The Stop Asian Hate rally lasted for about 2 hours downtown. The goal, to denounce senseless attacks on Asian Americans, including the recent shootings at Atlanta spas that killed 8 people, 6 of them women of Asian descent.
I feel like I hear and I see a lot in the past year. It's very sad.
Police are not yet calling it a hate crime, but many at the rally today feel differently.
We are all facing the scourge of unchecked bias in this country.
I will stand for hate no more.
Since the pandemic, unprovoked attacks against people of Asian descent are reportedly up as much as 150% in some cities.
People are doing terrible stuff to Asians like me.
We shouldn't hate each other no matter what color we are.
Every woman.
So today, they're speaking out.
We do want to spread awareness that we are more than what people perceive us to be.
Organizers say another goal of this rally was to show the outpouring of support and to hopefully bring comfort to the Asian community. But in the end, they just want their voices to be heard.
Nobody stand out for us. We are hoping more and more people can see we are a group of people who love this country. We need a voice from us. We need somebody to hear from us.
No! In Houston, Janelle Blue to KHOU 11 News.
In 2021, Congress passed a bill to fight hate crimes targeting the AAPI community. It expedited the review of hate crimes at the Justice Department and made grants available to help local law enforcement agencies. Called the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act, it got overwhelming support from both chambers and from President Biden.
There's a long history in this country of contributions of Asian Americans being overlooked, forgotten, and ignored.
Or worse. 80 years ago, our country put Japanese Americans in internment camps. Approximately 120,000 people were forced to relocate and live in the camps, including a Katy woman. She shared her memories with Anastasia Bull.
I remember doing this. I made this scrapbook. Yeah, I was going to write a book about myself. I should have.
Photos, precious keepsakes, have a way of taking us back.
The date is 1943.
To the moments we love to remember.
Oh, wow. Must have been a pretty good dance.
And places we just can't forget.
This is at Amachi. Look at all this. Oh, dear.
Marian Takahara had a reason to keep all this.
Amachi Senior High School.
Not only for the book she wanted to write, she kept the evidence of how life changed because people who looked like her suddenly became a national security threat after Japan bombed Pearl Harbor.
And that's when everything changed. We were scared. We didn't know what to do.
Marian was living in Los Angeles, going to high school.
We lived a pretty normal life.
When in February of 1942, President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed an executive order, number 9066. As a result, more than 120,000 Japanese Americans were incarcerated.
And we were given only 14 hours to move.
Mary and her family were forced to leave everything.
We had to put our dog to sleep because we didn't know what to do with it. People that came in and wanted to buy everything we had and stuff, things like that. But that night before we left, we all slept on the floor. And I hate talking about it because it just makes me cry.
Marian ended up in a small Colorado town at an internment center known as Camp Amachi. At its peak, the internment camp held more than 7,000 people.
In the showers, there was no doors in the showers, and it was hard for can you imagine what it's like for an older person to have to go to the bathroom without doors in the showers? And when I read over my notes, it made me sad again, too. But we got over it, we got over it, we got over it.
Marian says she was never bitter. She isn't now.
I have met many wonderful people. I've had a wonderful life. Isn't that amazing?
Her memories aren't as crisp as they used to be.
Amachi Senior High School. Sincerely, Harry, I don't even remember who he was.
But what she does remember, she wants to keep sharing so the rest of us know what happened and never forget.
We want more people to know it and be in textbooks and things like that.
In Houston, I'm Anastasia Bolton.
AAPI Houstonians haven't just persevered. They've become catalysts for change, shattering barriers and reshaping narratives. Their stories, like Marian's, demand to be heard. Their voices demanding to be amplified. Michelle Choi met a filmmaker documenting the hate, violence, and harassment women in the AAPI community have endured.
It's beautiful and it's very oriental. It's Asiatic.
I feel like most Asian American femmes can relate to that experience, and if not one or all of those recordings, I think has happened to Asian American femmes at one point or another in their lifetime.
Set in a bar scene, these conversations are real-life audio recordings collected over a span of 7 years by Kyoko Takanaka of racist come-ons men have blurted out to them.
Koreans have very puffy cheeks. They have very puffy cheeks.
For me, it was really a way to make productive use of my anger and my microaggressions,
which Takanaka channeled into their art instead, taking back the power. A second-generation Japanese-American filmmaker, performer, creator, and artist, this bar scene is just one chapter of Takanaka's four-part film Home, told through their eyes.
Home is about really this feeling of this particular experience of growing up in America as an Asian American person.
Throughout the powerful 10-minute-long film, Takanaka touches on complex issues from Asian Americans constantly feeling othered.
Where are you from? But where are you really from? Why are you not satisfied with my first answer?
To Hollywood's historical cultural objectification of Asian women.
Yeah, you gave her a kung fu villain role way before Marilyn Monroe.
But there's no denying the film's bar scene truly hits home for many. Eye-opening and raw, the real-life recorded conversations reveal firsthand how Asian women are often hypersexualized and fetishized.
At the end of the day, like, all these experiences are non-consensual for Asian Americans. Recording was kind of a way for me to claim that space and moment for myself and know that even though I was in the process of dealing with that trauma, I knew that one day it could be of use for someone else also, and explaining that similar experience.
Takanaka plans to continue rallying for the Asian American community through their art.
I think the goal of Asian American women for me is to not be boxed into anything and not be stereotyped into one definition of what that looks like, feels like, what that is, what that could be. Like, I really would just love for Asian American women to mean human being.
In instances of domestic violence in the South Asian community, women are almost always the victim, and escaping a dangerous situation can mean leaving the life they built behind. Rekha Mudaraj introduced us to a local organization that is culturally equipped to help South Asian survivors of domestic violence.
There's such a stigma against leaving an abusive relationship in our community.
In the South Asian community, there are intricate family connections and cultural nuances that are often misunderstood. Rachna Kare is the director of Daya. She says there's a great need for culturally specific resources when it comes to helping survivors, starting with something as basic as language.
Not just like interpretation language, but also vocabulary, right? Like coded language and idioms, and be able to really speak to somebody that understands exactly what you're saying.
The cultural taboos of leaving a spouse are complex, and Kare says mainstream agencies are not all equipped to handle specific issues like in-law abuse.
The vast majority of our clients are not only living with an abusive spouse, but they have a whole system of abusers. There's multiple perpetrators.
Safety is always the priority, but Kare says fears of deportation and being separated from children are why many clients don't call authorities for help. Circumstances Asma Shakad experienced firsthand. The single mother from Pakistan met a Houston area man on a dating website, and after a year of video calls and emails, she and her son came to the U.S. on a temporary tourist visa. When she arrived, she was surprised to learn the man had no interest in a relationship, stringing her along and jeopardizing her legal status.
The intention was to make me close to the time when I have to exit, so that he can exploit and do anything, and I will not be in a position to take any decision.
When he began abusing her and her son, Shakad became desperate for help.
For me, his intentions honestly was very shameless. He wanted to use me for some very bad things and all that, like prostitution of things.
She was connected to Daya through another organization.
I called on the helpline. I think the girl, she was Elizabeth, and she was the one, the way she showed her concern, oh, this is a problem, I'm so sorry to hear me. And I literally felt that, okay, at least somebody is there to understand what I'm going through.
She hopes her story encourages other South Asian survivors to seek help.
Something bad happened in your life. I know it's not good, but you have to speak up. Let them know what's going on. It's not shame. It's not your fault.
It echoes Kare's message to all survivors of domestic violence.
What you're doing is you're opening up new possibilities for not only your children, but your whole community. Because you're saying, like, this is not okay, and this cycle ends here.
We can't talk about abuse and trauma without also addressing mental health and the stigma around it in the AAPI community. Cultural and social attitudes toward mental health, and oftentimes the lack of acknowledgement, can have devastating effects on individuals, their families, and their communities. Rekha Mudaraj explored why the topic is so taboo for so many.
How long can you hold back depression, anxiety, or pain and grief and make that a life well lived?
It's a question Dr. Jenny Wang often asks her patients, many of whom are Asian American. The stigma surrounding mental health for this community, she says, has deep roots.
The idea of saving face, which is this idea that we must protect kind of this outward persona or our reputation, but not only for ourselves, but in addition to our parents, our families, and our communities.
But the ability to do that was tested during the COVID-19 pandemic. The nonprofit Asian American Pacific Islander Equity Alliance documented more than 10,000 reports of hate incidents against Asians in America. Everything from verbal harassment to refusal of service, property damage, assaults, and even murder. But Dr. Wang says there was a silver lining. It forced many members of the community to address their mental health.
Time is precious. And when we think about the relationships that are perhaps don't feel aligned or feel perhaps broken, and realize that there's actually a way to create bridges across generations, why wouldn't we perhaps even just explore that?
But generational trauma is a cycle that's hard to break, as many Asians fled war, dictatorships, poverty, and other struggles.
A lot of people arrive to the United States with unprocessed trauma. And there are many pathways that trauma then gets transmitted on the second generation. But if a parent is still having flashbacks from PTSD, they are going to struggle to be present in the moment with their children.
With younger generations, a common issue Dr. Wang addresses is feelings of shame derived from a sense of failure.
If you had parents who came to the United States and struggled, and you witnessed that struggle, then sometimes it feels as though we cannot fail because our parents worked so hard in order for us to have a chance to succeed.
What would you say to members of the AAPI community about advocating for themselves and seeking help?
It is very hard to admit that we are struggling or that we have mental health difficulties, but yet how long should we stay in silence? And what is that silence costing us?
Dr. Wang explores this topic in depth in her book, Permission to Come Home. Beyond the challenges faced by AAPI Houstonians, their contributions have helped shape Houston's identity. All it takes is a drive down Bel Air Boulevard to Chinatown to see what I mean. Michelle Choi met a man who's watched that area expand and evolve.
You can see on both sides.
Driving through Houston's Chinatown with Kenneth Lee is like taking a trip through history.
Not a shopping center, but they convert into a mixed use.
A man often referred to as the mayor of Houston Chinatown. There's not much Lee doesn't know about the shopping plazas and businesses that line Bel Air Boulevard. Born in Taiwan and raised in Hong Kong, Lee moved to Houston with his uncle in 1983.
I went to a Houston Baptist. At the same time, my uncle opened up the first Asian store on Bel Air Boulevard. It's a supermarket called the KHOU Market.
Now called Just Go Supermarket, the store still operates today.
From one store, one shopping center, we expanded to miles of the Asian business corridor.
Lee began his real estate career starting Southwest Realty Group, which he still runs more than 30 years later.
Hello, John. Morning.
Working to bring more Asian Americans to Houston.
When I arrived in the 80s, there's about 30,000 Chinese American, and then about another probably 40,000 Korean American in Houston.
He was instrumental in developing Bel Air Boulevard into the center of Houston's Asian community after the city's old Chinatown near downtown began running out of room. Recognizing the potential for development, he began working with politicians and investors, later helping to form the Southwest Management District he's now chairman of.
We are probably the most diversified district. Have over 110 countries immigrants living these 10 square miles.
Today, Houston's new Chinatown is one of the country's largest.
a gateway city, a new gateway city for a lot of international people to come.
And when he's not busy volunteering his time or working as chair of the Asian Chamber of Commerce too, you'll find Lee.
Yeah, they've been here for about 15 years, but I came here at least twice a week.
Enjoying the community he calls home.
We're all in a big family.
The AAPI community blends traditions new and old to create something that's uniquely their own. The tradition of balakbayan boxes, for example. Stephanie Whitfield broke down why these care packages are an important part of Filipino culture.
Araya Jensen has spent weeks filling up this box.
This is a gift for my nephew.
Every item purchased with a specific family member in mind.
He's gonna love this. He's gonna be so happy.
This care package destined for the Philippines is called a balakbayan box.
The literal translation of the balakbayan box is returning to one's country.
They've become a cherished part of Filipino culture.
The boxes were invented more than 40 years ago with the influx of Filipino workers coming to the United States. They were a way to send goods back home, tax-free.
Freedom Cargo in Houston ships hundreds of them each week. They're often filled with clothes, food, sweets, and other gifts. Owner Joel Bamba was born in the Philippines.
The first balakbayan box that I received was when I was 10 years old. It was from my mom.
His mom came to the U.S. to work and earn money for her family.
When you receive balakbayan boxes in the Philippines, people knew it came from abroad. It came from a hard work.
He's honored to be a sender now, helping to connect so many families who live so far apart.
So I'm so excited for them to receive this coffee maker.
Araya sends 1 or 2 boxes every month.
I can't physically be there to tell them how much I love them or give them a hug, but at least with this balakbayan box, they know that I'm thinking about them.
Stephanie Whitfield, KHOU 11 News.
Moving on to weddings, a milestone event in all cultures. But for some Indian families, they are often week-long affairs full of ceremony, family, friends, and fun. Sherman Chow snagged us an invite to a jaw-dropping experience.
Javita and her fiancé first met over the internet thanks to helpful relatives.
He kept flying to Houston to meet me.
4 years later, he traded in that plane for a horse. It's just one of the many traditional elements of an Indian wedding, like the Sangeet, a music-filled night of entertainment.
It's a very popular tradition.
Or the bride's henna tattoos, which often includes her groom's name.
He basically had to find it, and it's hidden really well.
During the marriage itself, the couple circles the fire, representing their life's journey, and the bride receives her Mangal Sutra, a necklace akin to a wedding ring. These festivities can last up to 10 days.
We'll have 5 to 8 different events, including the reception.
Therese Cole-Hubbs, a Polish girl from Cincinnati, is the wedding planner.
So I've done 879 Indian Pakistani weddings and South Asian weddings, and I've been doing it over 30 years.
It's all her company, Electric Karma, does. Indian weddings are big.
Usually it's around 350, 500, up to 1,000, 1,500. Each one of the ones I've done in India have been 5,000.
There, the whole town can be invited for a lavish production or a simpler street fest of sorts.
And everyone supports them because they've raised this child all together.
That's reflected during this ceremony, where relatives are front and center.
That it's really a merging of 2 families, and that for Indians is a huge, huge thing.
That can mean a huge price tag, especially for glamorous affairs.
350 people is at the 250 to 300,000 mark.
When the kids are born, the families start setting aside money for the wedding.
They are saving from the day they're born.
Today, the bride and groom's side typically split the bill. And of course, most weddings are much less extravagant. Regardless of the cost, traditions and family roles are key at these weddings, which can lead to more weddings.
You go there all dressed up because this is a perfect opportunity to see who's all single and who's not single.
We can't talk about AAPI culture without talking about the food and the exquisite symphony of flavors you can find in dishes all over the Houston area. In 2021, the Asian Chamber of Commerce started Asian Restaurant Month to highlight all of the different cuisines you can sample here. Zach Tawatari got to check a few out.
We all know Houston is one of the most diverse cities in the country. And this month, many are celebrating Asian culture through something we all love to do, eat.
So much of the story of where we're from,
myself being a Korean American,
can be told by the food that's on our tables.
There's a lot of people that come here have never tried Korean food. And so I want it to be not intimidating, I want it to be inviting.
Native Houstonian Jason Cho is the owner of Timber Grove Heights restaurant Doc and Bop, which means chicken and rice in Korean. For the second straight year, he's participating in Asian Restaurant Month.
Any extra attention that it can bring to any restaurant, I think have to take advantage of it.
A representation that coinciding with Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, Sunil Shrivastava, owner and chef of Indian restaurant Veranda in Upper Kirby,
you got to knead the dough correctly.
Hopes will be furthered by the month-long campaign featuring over 100 restaurants around Houston.
People think, oh, Asian, I think, must be noodle or some fried rice or something. No. That is just a tip of the iceberg.
Asian Restaurant Month started in 2021, and for him, it's an opportunity to show the similarities and unique qualities that make us a community.
How it is so different from any other cuisine, or how it is so linked and, kind of interlinked with the cuisines and spices.
And as Jason remembers his late father, a Korean immigrant who inspired him to dream big in his hometown, he says this month is a chance to share what makes Houston so diverse.
It's a melting pot of all the beautiful things that are available in our city.
Zach Tawatari, KHOU 11 News.
You have until May 31st to earn points when you visit participating restaurants, and then you can cash in those points for a tote, a utensil set, even a t-shirt. We've got details on our website at khou.com/ourstoryourhistory. But let's really spotlight Houston's Asian food scene because it is amazing. I'm just going to let Sherman Chow and Michelle Choi show you around.
The hot pot recipe is all about your specific tastes. It starts with a middle tureen, heated at the table, holding 2 kinds of broth. Customers go down the buffet line, choosing their favorite raw items, from seafood to vegetables to dumplings to noodles, and start cooking. It's very fast, just 10 seconds to cook a slice of meat. Kwan Lu helps run the Happy Lamb Hot Pot on Westheimer, part of a popular nationwide chain. We chat in English and Mandarin about the hot pot's popularity. You can eat slowly, the food is very fresh, and enjoy the company.
No rushing.
Definitely a place for friends and family. Sarah Park brought her visitors from Boston here.
Very like a communal thing. Everybody kind of has to do a little bit of work to be able to eat dinners.
Unless you're 9-year-old Jim Abril with your parents.
They make it, not just eat it. I've been to hot pots before. I really like this one, that's why. So I decided to come here today.
The menu is all you can eat. Lunch ranges from $20 to $30 a person, depending on what kind of meat you want. From lamb and chicken up to Kobe beef, all of it sliced wafer thin.
It was great. I had most of the beef options, and the garlic marinated beef was really good.
But the true star, the famed broth, boiled for 6 hours. Kwan gives us the secret ingredients. Got that? Whole hen beef bones, spices, and aromatics. Here in this well-air-conditioned restaurant, it's packed on a Monday afternoon, even though it's 95 degrees outside.
I'm okay with eating hot food even when it's hot outside. You have to be okay because you live in Texas.
So I would eat here like every day, even if it was like 100 degrees.
It's believed that the hot pot began nearly 1,000 years ago in Mongolia, but has since spread to other countries as well. In addition to China, Japan, Korea, Vietnam, all have their own versions.
I just wanted a little bit of comfort today, and I knew that this was kind of going to hit the spot.
A place where the lamb may not be happy, but the customers are. Inside Two Hands Corn Dogs, the staff is prepping different fillings, batters, toppings, and seasonings, while the line outside just gets longer.
Before, everything goes hectic.
Because when the doors open, it's off to the races. Wint Russell Ballara is the head cook.
This is actually a half mozzarella, half sausage. We got classical sausage and a whole mozzarella.
Your choice of dog gets rolled in the dough that's been allowed to rise.
reason why it's called two-handed because when I roll, right, we're using two hands.
Then rolled again in a topping of your choice.
When a corn dog is facing like this means potato, and these are just normals. If it's sideways like this goes to the crispy rice, so we don't get confused, you know?
So
we
there's a
just,
little code.
Yeah, there's a code.
Next step, the fryer. The bottom of the sticks are color-coded too for the correct seasoning, from hot Cheetos to...
So this is sugar. Pure water. Yeah. Weird, right? But I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna change your mind.
There are 35 different combinations of corn dogs here, price ranging from $3 to $6 a dog. And these days, food can't just taste good, it's gotta look good too.
I just saw it blow up on TikTok and I was like, okay, we gotta try this place.
Ayana is a regular from Pearland and brought her mom today.
The lines and everything, I was like, wow, it must be that good.
Philip Kim owns this franchise.
This is a rebrand for the American market.
Those American Asian influences attract the Owens family when they visit from San Antonio.
We make it a point to come here, yeah. And it doesn't matter how long the wait is.
Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
They're delicious. She even tried to duplicate it at home.
And how'd that go?
Good. I'm not as good as these.
When you visit Houston's Chinatown, there's so much to see and my favorite to eat. Today, we're going to satisfy that sweet tooth by checking out some unique Asian-inspired desserts. Let's go.
Our first stop is Snowy Village. Hi! From Korean-inspired desserts to tasty drinks, this shop has a lot to offer, but its standout star is the bingsu.
Well, bingsu is unlike your traditional shaved ice concepts that you see out there. It's a Korean-style version of that. We take whole milk that's sweetened, and then we shave it off to where it's like a snow consistency, but we have, endless toppings here. You make your bingsu custom.
Our next stop is Feng Cha, a Chinese bubble tea shop.
In Chinese, Feng Cha means to serve you the tea with your respect.
Here you'll find an assortment of refreshing milk teas.
Thank you. Now, I'm told there's a fan favorite around here. It's this drink called Dirty Boba, and there's a reason why. It'll get you fired up.
Infused with fresh milk lined with brown sugar caramel, the drink is topped off with a house-made cheese milk foam that gets, torched, creme brulee style. Our third stop, Mochi Nuts. A combination of an American and Japanese donut, mochi donuts not only have a distinct look, but...
They're very unique because it's made out of Japanese mochi, which is a sweet rice.
Thank you. Check this out, allowing for a light and crispy texture on the outside and a soft and chewy texture on the inside.
Fan of green tea? Then you'll love our next destination, Matcha Cafe Maiko. One look around and you'll notice a lot of green colored decor
and green colored desserts here at this cafe, almost all of which contain this. Matcha.
Made by grinding green tea leaves into a powder, here you'll find matcha sprinkled on everything. Waffles, puddings, drinks.
Thank you. To soft-served ice cream, this one's even decked out in a 24-karat edible gold leaf.
In the mood for sugary and sweet Pomato Natural?
Hi, welcome to Linda Tropical Fruit.
From durians, lychees to dragon fruit and more, Linda's Tropical Fruits carries exotic fruits that are found all over the world, including different regions of Asia.
So we bring it all here in one place so that people don't have to travel just to, get that fruit that they tasted once.
And as if that wasn't sweet enough, they'll even whip you up a fresh fruit smoothie. Well, sadly, this is where our sweet trip ends.
Bye, see you next time.
Bye. But feel free to keep venturing out because there are so many more delicious treats here in Chinatown.
And it's a brown sugar drizzle that we make in-house.
It is not your grandfather's tea.
Good scoop of boba.
Boba, bubbles, pearls, tapioca, whatever you call it, that chewy, gooey goodness has launched a now $2 billion drink trade. Just ask Chow Ming.
I was born in the country that started bubble tea.
Taiwan. Why is it so popular? Well, on Asian chats or advertising, you'll see.
It's just two letter Q's, QQ, which means chewy. But it's a special type of chewy. There's a little bit of a chew factor, that you don't really find in Western cuisine.
The humble boba has given birth to a whole new array of sinkers, add-ins which sink. Rainbow and lychee jellies, puddings, crystal bobas, aloe vera, diced fruit, and poppers.
But they're filled with juice. Yeah, kids love them. Kids love eating the poppers.
Yeah, it's like a little surprise in your mouth. And the classic milk tea has launched fruit-flavored green, Thai teas, coffees, and juices of every variety. The ingredients create a dizzying number of drink choices. Ming opened one of the early boba shops in Houston more than a decade ago. So why did he think bubble teas would sell here?
It's hot in Texas, right? Also, I love the diversity in Houston. People love to try new things here.
It's just, spicy, right?
The latest twist has a cross-cultural spin. Behold the mighty mangonada, sweet mango spiced with the popular Mexican chili lime tajin seasoning.
That's good.
The little guy seems to agree. In fact, the popular boba even has its own music videos with millions of views. And new favorite? Foam toppings.
And definitely try taking off that little red cap and then sipping it that way.
It's like a different drink on
Yeah,
top
it's a different
than the
drink
one
on
on
top.
bottom.
Yeah, it is.
Holy moly. And I know a little something about bubble teas. That's different.
Yeah.
Never too old to try a new taste.
Yeah? Baby thumbs up.
It's not your father's sushi. Well, actually.
My mother and father started their first Japanese restaurant in Texas in 1963, up in Dallas, and here in Houston in 1965.
Today, Glenn Gondo is president of Tokyo Gardens Catering,
People become quite aware of Asian food today.
including at HEB. The first Sushiya bar went into the Friendswood store 22 years ago.
I was apprehensive, a sushi bar in a grocery store, but when it first opened up, couldn't believe it.
Now his son Robert works for the company, and they have some 400 sushi bars catering to colleges, hospitals, corporations, and more.
Restaurants can teach us about AAPI culture, but Houston is home to so many more places to learn, like the Hermann Park Japanese Garden, which recently celebrated its 30th anniversary. Zach Tawatari explored the garden's history and commitment to tradition.
Sometimes the places you go can transport you half a world away.
Two words that come to mind are peace and tranquility.
Doreen Stoller is the president of Hermann Park Conservancy.
The busy medical center is just outside the park. Downtown is just 2 miles away. But when you come in here, you feel like you can take a deep breath and life just slows down.
For how it engages the senses, it seems fitting that the Hermann Park Japanese Garden itself was a gift.
To the city of Houston by a group of Japanese and American business people.
But after its conception 30 years ago, the garden began to lose its sense of tradition. The city didn't have Japanese gardeners on the payroll, and so they formed a committee. Yuzuru Nagawa is from Japan.
I am a chair of Japanese Garden Advisory Board.
Nagawa-san has served on the committee for 6 years, and since 2007, teams from Japan have come to assist the everyday team in Hermann Park to return the garden to its Japanese roots.
You can see the mountains or river, water flows, plants, or buildings.
Here, no stone has been left unturned.
And the big rocks represent mountains, and the small rocks is actually river, water.
Every detail flowing into a larger meaning.
We create in the garden in small pieces so that people can enjoy the piece of Mother Nature.
It's why, in commemoration of the garden's 30th anniversary, the Japan America Society of Houston has created the Houston Japanese Garden app to guide visitors, old and new, through its many vantage points.
I think Japanese garden is symbolic of a bridge between Houston and Japan.
And as it looks into the future, the garden hopes to continue to build its most important connection.
By having a Japanese garden, we can get together within those communities to work together to represent Japan.
A local Hindu temple is the third oldest in the U.S. and attracts visitors from across the country, including Sherman Chow.
The goddess Meenakshi is being celebrated here at the Pearland Temple, which bears her name. Some 3,000 devotees attended from Texas,
Oklahoma, Louisiana, California. We had a lot of out-of-towners come and stay the 10 days just to attend these festivities.
Pony Sivaraman is a temple director and our tour guide.
Hinduism believes in the Trinity. We believe in Brahma, the creator, Vishnu, the preserver, and Shiva, the destroyer of all evils.
Other deities like Meenakshi, the warrior goddess, similar to patron saints in Christian religions, oversee different areas from the arts to wealth. All visitors are welcome here to the Meenakshi Temple. Just a few simple rules. They ask that shoulders and knees are covered and that shoes are left outside. At this temple, there are 9 priests offering daily prayers.
We all live here, all priests.
Each corner of the main temple is dedicated to a different god. There are smaller temples, an auditorium, playground, even a peacock sanctuary. A major beautification project begins next week, which includes solar panels. Civic service also important. Scholarships, yoga, chess club, sports.
We have volleyball courts, basketballs, cricket, kabaddi, you name it, we have it.
The activities and the worship services are open to all.
To come visit us and to see the splendor and the hospitality of our people.
Stafford is also home to a Hindu temple. It was inaugurated in 2004 and serves as a gathering space for Swaminarayan devotees in the Houston area. The temple is open and free to everyone. You can even take audio and group tours. A museum dedicated to the legacy of Mahatma Gandhi is being built in the Houston area. The first of its kind in North America, this museum will step visitors through Gandhi's life. And Rekha Mudaraj found out it shares how other world leaders were influenced by his values of truth, nonviolence, and peace.
A new museum located in Southwest Houston wants visitors to reflect, learn, and
teach your truth, whatever it is, non-violently.
Founder Atul Kothari says the Eternal Gandhi Museum has been in the works since 2016.
The building is 12,800 square feet.
Wow.
And the site is 3 acres.
It's the first freestanding museum in North America dedicated to Nobel Peace Prize laureate Mahatma Gandhi and his legacy. It's still under construction, but museum director G.V. Krishnan gave us a first look.
As soon as you walk in, you're going to see what is happening current on this planet. What are the problems and struggles we are facing.
Visitors will learn about Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi's childhood in India and early adulthood as he studied law in London before working in South Africa for about 2 decades. One exhibit highlights a poignant moment during Gandhi's time there, the night he was kicked off a first-class train car despite having a ticket.
That's why we want to emphasize this particular station to the children. For everyone, we got a tipping point. This is a tipping point for him.
The experience ultimately helped shape Gandhi's doctrine of nonviolent protests. His policy of passive political resistance helped him emerge as a nationalist leader upon his return to India, becoming a recognized figure around the world.
And here you can see, open it, and you can see the Time magazine named Man of the Year.
The museum also moves Gandhi's message forward, citing his influence over fellow world peace leaders, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela, Cesar Chavez, Malala Yousafzai, and more. Co-founder Seish Bala says he hopes Gandhi's message and the museum resonate with children.
Today it's more important than any other time. There's war, groups fighting with each other, gun violence in schools and all that. So these are all the times, times when we should influence their thinking.
As they leave, visitors are asked to make a promise to themselves to do better, a small step toward becoming another Mahatma or great soul.
The Eternal Gandhi Museum is set to open this July. Organizers say many schools have reached out about tours. The museum plans to have a fully trained staff ready to conduct these tours starting this fall.
Brace yourselves for a truly delightful cultural lesson, courtesy of Sherman Chow and some of the most adorable ambassadors you'll ever meet, the students of HISD's Mandarin Immersion Magnet School.
Houston's Mandarin Immersion School. It is the first public school in the state of Texas where kids spend half the day learning in English and half in Chinese. 5,000 乘 1,000. And you thought math was hard enough in one language. So today, we decided to ask these kids to school us, me included, with Chinese lessons. Isan, age 14.
我学了很多的东西.
William, age 11.
你们知道中国的12生肖吗？
Complete with 12 animals. Stephen is 9.
我喜欢中国新年，因为我喜欢龙。
Joseph, age 9.
我最喜欢汉堡，中国新年。
Me too, kid, because they come with money. Alec, age 9.
我最喜欢吃中国式。
Finally, 8-year-old Alexis.
我喜欢我的妹妹中国来。
And little sister Evelyn, also 8.
我喜欢我的姐姐，因为她很大。
Same age, same family, just not the same size. True confessions, when I was their age, I went to Chinese school too. As a matter of fact, my dad was the principal for a while, and I nearly got suspended. True story, hand to God. But a story for another day.
I can only imagine the kind of trouble Hermann got up to when she was young. But can we just pause for a second to recognize how many kids got to grow up watching her anchor and report someone who looked like them, and how important that representation is? She was one of the first, if not the first, Asian reporter in Houston when she started on air here 34 years ago. And she helped pave the way for others, including our Stephanie Whitfield, Zach Tawatari, Reka Mudaraj, and Michelle Choi. And the reigning Miss Universe, a Houston area native, marked a new first when she was crowned. Marcelino Benito talked to Arbani Gabriel about her history-making win.
The new Miss Universe is
28-year-old Arbani Gabriel breaking barriers. Crowned Miss Universe in New Orleans Saturday.
I was in disbelief. Like, I wasn't sure if it was really me who won. Everybody was cheering so loud. Like, I could barely even hear them say my name. I saw them coming towards me with the sash and the crown and everything. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I really did win. And I was just so happy. It was the best feeling in the world.
Has it settled in now a couple, day and a half later?
You know, little by little, each day, it still feels unreal.
She was the first Filipina American to win Miss Texas, Miss USA, and now the Miss Universe pageant.
It's not only a win for me, it's a win for my family and a community and all the women and little girls that are messaging me. And I really just hope this brings a message of inspiration and hope that women and young girls, they can be the first to do anything.
All night, Gabriel set herself apart. In the swimsuit competition, donning a cape, she designed herself using plastic bottles. The fashion designer even paid homage to her hometown on the international stage, strutting in a NASA-inspired moon costume, weighing 33 pounds.
This is a win for my city. I am so happy to represent Houston. I'm a born and raised H-Town girl. I'm looking forward to coming home and just celebrating with everybody. I feel Houston proud. I feel like I'm putting Houston on the map even more.
Ultimately, it was her answers on stage.
I would use it to be a transformational leader.
That sealed the win over Miss Venezuela and Miss Dominican Republic, earning loud applause when suggesting Miss Universe allow women older than 28 compete for the crown.
It doesn't matter what age you are. You shouldn't feel too young or too old for anything to try and start something new and really make something happen for yourself.
Now the Houston native, known for working as a sewing instructor for domestic violence survivors and using sustainable materials in her clothing line, will spend the next year representing women around the world.
I want to amplify my message of using fashion as a force for good. And I'm really looking forward to that because Houston has shown me so much love. I have so much love for H-Town.
Marcelino Benito, KHOU 11 News.
Houston has the 4th largest Vietnamese population in the nation. Mia Gradney shared, it's a community of proud Houstonians doing what Houstonians do, helping others, whether that's here at home or a world away.
I came to America in 1975, right after the Vietnam War with my parents. We came over on a very small boat as refugees, and subsequently we were picked up by the U.S. Navy, and that's how we came to America.
Dr. Lucy Wynn's family stayed at a military base before a Texas home builder sponsored their family's move to Houston.
46 years ago, there were very few Vietnamese. I would say a handful of people, a handful of Vietnamese. But I think with time, because maybe the climate and the welcoming atmosphere of Houston, that made us all just feel like this is home.
And it is here, Lucy benefited from an amazing public school education.
From that, I was able to go to college with a scholarship and attended medical school where I became a medical doctor.
Her success just magnified the challenges in Vietnam.
We take it for granted that we can have primary education from kindergarten to 12th grade. In countries like Vietnam, education is not free. Every child must pay to go to school. Average family in Vietnam would only make about $300 a month. To send a child to school costs $20 a month. And they have to pay that $20 every month. If they don't have the money, then the kids can't go to school.
Lucy's parents founded Houston-based Abandoned Little Angels in an effort to offer these children hope.
So far, we have built 9 schools and orphanages together in the last 27 years. And the children who can go on and continue school, we help pay for their tuition. We have amazing results.
Amazing results despite a really difficult year with the pandemic and increased violence and racism.
We've seen awful displays of Asian hate. How has that impacted you, your life, and what you do and continue to contribute?
It is so unfortunate and sad that there is hate and violence. We feel that by continuing our missions with sharing love, kindness, I think that will overcome the hate.
Hope over hate and continued compassion to help others less fortunate succeed.
The nonprofit Abandoned Little Angels provides tuition, meals, and more to children in Vietnam, but it also helps children in Houston's underserved communities, regardless of their background. To learn more about the organization's mission, go to our website. At khou.com/ourstoryourhistory, you can find all our coverage of Asian American and Pacific Islander Month. From overcoming challenges and advocating for justice to preserving cultural heritage and enriching the city's landscape, the AAPI community in Houston reminds us of the power of unity and the beauty that lies within our differences. Thanks for joining us for this KHOU 11 Plus special. I'm Brandy Smith.